At the dawn
Hi, this is John Body. I'm a producer on the game.
And sitting next to him here is Will Body. I'm the technical director and one of the lead programmers on the game.
The voice you're hearing is Will Lyman. He's a very famous narrator for TV and a lot of sort of historical present TV shows that you see about different terrorist groups and global political situations, things like that.
It was interesting during development how much current events kind of caught up, unfortunately, to the design of our game. Even the creation of Cypher kind of closely mimicked the creation of the Homeland Security Department, but we were there a year or two ahead of them.
A lot of people ask me if that's real. Hey, is that real, Cypher? You know, Will Lyman really sells that. That's why we chose him for the historical present genre, but no, it's not real, actually. This is Jake Seaver. That's actually the Bat Cave up in Bronson Caves. This is some stock footage we got from ABC News talking about the covert mission that was launched in 1999. In the beginning of the game, we drop you into Afghanistan on the hunt. So we're going to actually play through the game and talk about how we made it. Here we go, we're loading up the game. This is again a segue from that Will Lyman piece that we saw.
And we basically start the player in Afghanistan after he's shot down here by forces sympathetic to Osama bin Laden.
Those are real Marines, actually. One was a communications officer we hired to get some kind of real dialogue that we were doing. How troops would communicate to their helicopters and back and forth. We recorded Arabic and different languages for the game as well.
We chose to have these intro pieces to be short, less than 30 seconds, just so that we would keep the player involved in the game and not having them wait through lots of non-interactive sequences. So we drop you right in after a brief intro.
And your weapons are scattered around the area, so your first thing you have to do is go and pick up all the weapons.
You know, John, that's one of my favorite things actually about this mission is this design of this little intro area, because it's fun. I mean, you just started the game and now here you are picking up...
There's a grenade launcher.
You're picking up a bunch of the cooler weapons, and this is only one quick mission you'll get to use them, but it's nice to introduce the player to some of the meat of the game right up front and keep them hooked.
I love the scopes we can put on different weapons. You can put a scope on a grenade launcher. It really helps in gameplay, especially when you get into the later levels.
A lot of these scopes were designed after real-life scopes like the ACOG, but we also took some liberties. Of course, one of our chief weapon designers, actually the guy, Jay Cotton, who designed all these weapons, is an extremely thorough weapon designer, and he really made sure that things made sense, and all the weapons actually do make sense and have some justification for functioning in the way they do.
Yeah, a lot of his sketches are brilliant, just amazing gun designer. These characters actually are Al-Qaeda style soldiers dressed in the sort of camo and the saris and the headdress, the typical sort of Afghan Pakistani garb for the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
It's interesting on the HUD design that we chose here. We wanted to keep it minimalist to keep the action very visible on screen. I personally don't like games where the view of the player is so cluttered with instrument gauges that you forget that you're playing a game that has real-time 3D graphics.
Yeah, so he says, "Shufu Americani," it means, look, American. Jesus. I love those explosions. Those are done by Chad and his smash cut guys. Oh, there he is. There's bin Laden himself. So we introduced the player to the concept of capturing fugitives alive. So this first level was kind of an idea to just drop you in, give you the gameplay of the guns and everything, but also show you about the mini fighting game.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the game, is right after you finish this quick intro level, you get to play this little fighting mini game, and this introduces the player to the capture mechanic. We tested this heavily. I'd say we probably tested that one feature for about a year, getting it right. Once Jake Seaver returns to the States, after a while he can't resist the itch to get back into law enforcement and kind of doing justice and doing right, so he gets involved with Cypher after his little tour of duty in the teams.
He's doing domestic bounty hunting for a contract for pay, basically, and he's right now he's in the hood in Miami. A lot of these textures and the pictures on the wall, like that garage door you see and some of the graffiti, some of it was painted, but a lot of the woods and stone and things like that, rundown metal, a lot of that stuff was photographed by myself and some of our photographers at the office that were able to go to downtown LA and different downtown cities to get the look and feel of kind of a gritty inner city downtown environment.
We're going to segue from that little area to Miami City, inner city, and in here it's kind of a continuation of that introduction, but there's more vertical gameplay in this area. This series of levels in Miami is one of my favorite in the whole game, and it shows in terms of the player path and the things that you get to do. It's actually, a lot of people comment that the level seems really big. It's actually one of the smaller levels in the game, but because of the design, it really feels big, and you really feel like you've got a lot of things to do.
Now this is Charles Marcus. He's out in Utah. He's basically a hitman that you're chasing that's working in conjunction with the Patriots militia group.
This level is another one of my favorite levels. It actually started out as one of the kind of the least playable levels in the beginning, and it really taught us, it really taught us a lot about the design process, because we had this big open bowl, and then eventually we turned it into a really fun level. But it was a learning process, and I'm really happy with how it came out. It's very engaging, and it's visually pretty stunning. People usually react well to it when they see the art in the level.
So there's jumping puzzles throughout the game too. Not too much. It's not like a jumping game, but it does make it a little fun and sometimes frustrating, actually.
There you just have to crawl through that little area. So there's enough use of it to make you navigate around the map, but we don't want to make it frustrating. On the other hand,
there's Lucas Aker, actually, and one of the fugitives we had researched was actually Eric Rudolph, and he was kind of a militia, ex-army guy. That's why you see guys in this area, they're not running around like gang members, they're doing CQB or close quarter battle maneuvers, the way they walk, the way they corner, things like that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember, Eric Rudolph was implicated in the Atlanta bombing back in '96, and also some domestic bombings of clinics and other stuff. So we patterned one of our fugitives after him. And in fact, that brings up another point when people usually ask, were the fugitives all modeled after real people? And we kind of went half and half. Some were modeled directly, others were fictitious. Armando Rojas is a fictitious narcotics trafficker in the Caribbean.
He's actually played by my father, Carl Botti, who's a retired math teacher in Long Island.
I think his students will get a kick out of this when they get to apprehend him and capture him and kick the crap out of him.
I love that. Look, he's got the scope on the pistol, and he also equipped it with a silencer. So you can actually go around and play very stealthily if you want, by outfitting silencers onto the different weapons, or you can just go with a full-on assault rifle or big guns. There's Dad.
Yeah, we're going through the ruins. We're down in the Caribbean, and there's some ancient Indian ruins here that you're going to be fighting through, and the drug traffickers have moved in, and these guys are merciless. I mean, there's just an army of these guys, and they're that they work for the Perez cartel.
There's the TV grenade. We wanted to pay homage to the actually Gulf War I, because a lot of the footage was really over that TV guided missile kind of camera footage. It's a great weapon, like here, to take out those turrets, which are really nasty. You can use that TV-guided missile. There's Eduardo Perez. He's played by Jose Villeta's brother. Jose Villeta is a partner at Black Ops, and he's one of the founders. I like this inventory select. You can kind of pause the action as well if it's getting too hot in the battle for you.
It's interesting, a lot of games, when you hit select or pause, they actually don't give you too many options. I mean, some games just print pause and that's it. That's all you got. You want to change an option, you got to go back to the beginning of the game and quit out and save. And who wants to do that? I mean, we want to keep the player engaged, so we try to make as many options and variables basically as accessible to the player as we can, and people have responded well to that. So many people forget that these are CD and DVD media games, and if you're designing an arcade game, it's a different story. But if you're designing on the CD or DVD medium, you have to take the load times into account, and you have to really value the player's immersive experience and not having them to kick back out to the beginning. That's one thing I actually hate about some of these other games that are really highly rated, but the fun factor is lower.
There we go with the homing grenades again. I mean, that's just like death from above. I mean, you can fire them out like that, or you can paint your targets, and then the homing grenade will actually chase the last painted target. So you just put your target reticule on, it turns red, and the homing missile will home on that last target.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtleties with the weapons that people don't really realize, but they'll learn as they play the game. In this level, we're chasing down Benassi, who's one of the cell planners for the terrorist organization.
It's kind of funny too, the fact that you're shooting French guys.